So if we look at this, if we have really have to look at the picture holistically, we need to build ourselves. And there's another important point to Nigeria you raised again. It said we have to build our military. We really have to ensure our security. But when you raised this issue like 2 months ago, this was not the angle you took. But now you have situated it properly. We have to blame our leaders for not building our own security. Now you have laid it properly. We have to blame our leader. Okay, how can you actually blame the West for this? Imagine your presidential candidate going to France for, come on, for medication. What about if they insert any kind of chip or anything in his body or in his entourage or in his, I don't know, in his aircraft somewhere? What about if they do that? Knowing how greedy the French are, what about if they do that? With all his Tinubu's with all Tinubu's word, what will take him actually to build a world-class hospital in this country so that he takes his medication here? He does everything he's supposed to do here. He invites these people from overseas. And moreover, we have enough qualified. What will it really take him? If you leave Tinubu alone, look at your president, the one you called, because I have not accepted Tinubu as my president. I didn't even accept Buhari as my president, just like I never accepted Obaseki as my governor. Look at Buhari. He spent the total number of days he spent overseas out of his 8 years was close to like 2 years. So this is a president that was being treated for an undisclosed ailment that he spent 6 months continuous stay overseas for 6 months. And he came back. He didn't deem it fit to build a world-class facilities that will take care of his own people, the people that cannot afford to go overseas. He didn't deem it fit to do that. But trust me, if it was one of these Western leaders, when people when people die of cancer overseas, their children, they will, most of the time, they will donate his wealth for the research of that ailment. Even leaders, they all do that over in the West. Because the bottom line is that these people project their nation ahead of their personal goal. They project their nation ahead of their personal greed. But we will never have any of that. The man has done 8 years and he has left. He has done 8 years and he has left, and nothing completely to show for it. He woke up and is commissioning a refinery that's just about 75% completed. That is scandalous. If you love your people, you wouldn't even do that. Why? It still boils down to personal greed. He wanted it to be counted as some of the things he did while he was in power. Because that is what we are all about. It
Can,
is about us.
Chris, can I interject? Let me
Yeah,
add something to what you just said. Remember that they told us that refinery, Dangote's refinery, will start rolling out fuel in July.
yes, actually, they said June. They actually said June that production will start in June and it will peak in July. So because of that, we would not need the what is it called again,
The
um
subsidy.
the subsidy again. Now, if we leave all
So
those,
they tricked the whole of Nigerians to remove
that is
subsidy,
that is
promising
exactly
them
what
the
I'm saying.
refinery will be operational by June, and then that's why some Nigerians were on the street defending them. Now they realize that the refinery is going to start operation in 2025.
Yeah. So let
What
me
if in 2025 they told you now it's going to start operation again in 2027 because it's a very large refinery. It's not a small refinery.
Of course, they can say that because they've been postponing the kickoff dates. I think this is about the third time. The last one it just this is about the third time. Now, talking about refinery, please, guys, let's be factual. How can you tell me that we have spent more than enough funds on subsidy than the funds that we could have used to build a refinery. How can we actually blame other people for that? For the fact that a country as big as Nigeria, we have three refineries, we have 600 and something staff in the NNPC, and they get 150 something billion every year
Do you know the
as
people are
salary.
blamed for it? You know the people are blamed for it? It's our
No,
military.
no, that the problem is, I'm not talking about the sector. What I'm saying is that we have to blame ourselves for all this
That's what I'm saying.
sabotage.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. To
it
blame
has to be
yourself because
we.
you've not been given the power. You know,
Yes.
you've not
Yeah,
been given the
even
power
I,
by your government. Like what I
I
just said now.
yeah, I
You,
know. I know
yeah,
completely where you are coming from. You know,
yes,
I'm looking at this thing holistically, whether the military, the politicians, I'm just calling everybody we and
yes,
the West. That is how I'm looking at it. Now, if we cannot refine our own fear, we cannot refine, we refuse to. But we forgot that if we refine fuel, we are going to, crude oil, I mean, we are going to employ thousands and thousands of our people, and we are going to get 15 petrochemical products from these things we are refining, and we are going to get bitumen, the most important bitumen, and coal tar. These are all products, waste products from petrol and crude oil. And imagine coal tar, that is what is used for the construction of roads.
yeah.
But our personal greed will not allow us to do that. What we are going to benefit from subsidy scam will not allow us to do that. This has nothing to do with the West. And let me conclude like this. It is how you treat your people. That is how outsiders will treat you. Now, most of us are overseas, and we have seen what happened at refugee camps. Can you actually fathom the fact that we treat ourselves, our people in ID camp, worse than the West treat our people in refugee camp in their country? I think that is a food for thought. The way we treat our people in our IDP camps, you can't even compare it to the way the West treats our people.
They use our IDP camp here to make money. It's a
It's
project.
exactly what I'm
Yeah.
saying. We can't
Can
compare it to the
can
way.
I ask? Can I just brief in something so that we can think over, because that's the you can think over it. One, I want to say one thing. We can continue to talk because we have been talking for the past 40 to 30, 35 to 40 years. We have been talking, and this same thing that is happening now has been what we have been talking for the past 35 years. This same thing that we are discussing now, we are discussing. This same thing we are between security, self-sufficiency, greediness, corruption, nepotism, tribalism. We've been talking it for the past how many years now? And we refuse to talk on the reason why we came to this realization and why we came to this level we are now, where we don't trust each other, where we don't want to do anything good for ourselves, where we just want to take our resources and give it to whoever we want to, whoever can keep it for us, wherever we don't want to develop our own land, rather want to develop other people's land. We really need to do this. And every one of us here, please, I beg you,
Do you know where
in
I
the
will
name
boil
of
down
God.
to? Do you know where I will
Yeah,
boil
I'm
down
going
to?
now. You will start. I just want to do this preface so that anybody can talk. I
Okay.
beg everybody here, we should start focusing on the source of Nigerian problem. I will trace it back. I will start making correction. We'll get to the end point where we'll find solution. Because all what we are seeing now, we are talking about the surface. Surface. We'll talk on this surface till we get to the next century. Yet, there's no solution. But if you don't kick on the day we started this thing, and the argument we have displayed from the day we started this amalgamation, we will not get it right, because people, the nations of the world are going to leave us. but we are still going to remain in this quagmire of tribalism, nepotism, all these things we have been mentioning. We are still going to carry it over to the next century until we do the needful. I want us to think around that thing. But the reason why I've not brought this up was because of this election. Now, if we get it right, I think those issues will come up. But now I deem it, as a sign of respect to everybody, that we should start taking it step by step. Because if we don't cure the sore that we have from inside, if we start cleaning the outside, then we start feeling the pain, and that sore may emanate again and start giving us pain. So we got to clean it from the inside so that we might have complete healing of the sore. Thank you.
Let me just say something on this. In my own opinion, see, me a little bit. I've done analysis on this very subject that you said, but I narrow it down to few things. Number one, I realized that Nigeria is not one. Number one, Nigeria is not one.
Perfect.
We might pretend to be one.
Perfect.
Might pretend want to be one. Let me just be frank with you. We might pretend to be one. We might be pretending to be one. Believe me, Nigeria is not one. And once Nigeria is not one, it will be difficult for Nigeria to be united. Look at the election, what happened during the election. The moment they realized that Nigerians are coming together, what they did was to immediately bring in tribalism and religions. What does that mean? It's to divide the country, to divide the people, because they know we are religious people, we are tribalistic people. It's all about my tribe. Look at my state, for example, Edo State, or just my state. You see different ethnic group trying to, they come up on social media talking against another ethnic group in the same state. And these things were done by the politicians for a very long time. And these are same people. So I just used those things as an example. These are same people, same blood, brothers and sisters. No different. Whether you're from Isako, Isasetra, I don't know, down to Urobodo, these are same blood by history. But what did politics do? Politics came in and then they divided the people. They gave us different names. Oh, you are this, you are that, and you are that. And then if you take that into the whole into a contest, a full contest, Nigeria contest, you find out that the northern part of Nigeria, they are completely different from the southern part of Nigeria. And in the southern part of Nigeria, I'm sorry to say this also again, another thing. If you look at the southern part of Nigeria, there are two major ethnic groups that also want to lord it over other ethnic groups. And it's the Igbo and the Yoruba. So Nigeria is completely divided. So before we're supposed to be talking about even development, these are the issues that are supposed to be solved in the first instance. Are we one? Okay, if we are not one, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to solve these problems? Today, you see a Yoruba man say Omoibo. You see Omoibo saying Omo Yoruba. If you live in the United States, did you hear anything like that in your community? Have you ever heard of anything of such in your community? In America, you see about America, a country where you are being asked your country, your state of origin. If you're born in Lagos, then they ask you your state of origin. So you have to go to your state to bring in a state of origin. In America, I can decide to change my address, residence, and I will contest in the new state where I moved in as a governor or whatever. I don't have a state of origin. I'll just do a change of address and they'll just confirm my residence, my state of residence. But in Nigeria, they will ask for your state of it's in. I don't know. Really never checked that in the constitution. If that is required in the constitution, where they asking people state of origin, that's a deceiving, a divisive a statement. Asking people their state of origin. Someone who is born in Edo and then is supposed that person supposed to claim to be an Edoma or Edo woman, then you are asking that person to go bring his or her state of origin, and then he's going to Anambra to go bring. So you are sending him to his destination. You are indirectly telling him that, hey, listen, you're not part of me. So how they manage to push those things into our system is something we really do not. Uh, I can't really fathom. I can't really understand this thing. But when we begin to address these issues, believe me, and I strongly believe that Nigeria is no more. So I'm not going to talk much on it because we're, because it's not really a topic that we want to. Otherwise, we'll break everything down and then people can even start fighting. But we don't want that. I like other people to share your opinion on that.
Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
I'll just I'll just jump in. Piece of I think we just finished the whole thing. I know probably the angle to Nigeria is looking at. Sorry, Black Panther was looking at it from okay, probably what was the roots. The root cause of this problem was that the West they colonized us. Yeah, they joined us together when they know we were different. They gave us a faulty constitution, and they did this, they did that, they did that. Yeah, so if they hadn't colonized us, if they have left us to the way we were before, we would have developed and taken a different trajectory. See, all those things, they're already in the past. We cannot do anything about them. But what we can do about them is to change these things. But still, we have refused to change these things. Why? Because of greed. We don't need to hide it. We are not the same. I know two Nigeria is against this. Two Nigeria want a one united, indivisible, strong Nigeria. I know that has been your dream, but you can see the arguments for that. There are not much arguments for that because the power that be, the people that are supposed to follow that trajectory, they are using our division. They are using our division against the unity of that country. And whenever issues of Nigeria comes up, trust me, it is Nigeria that comes last. The first thing that comes up is your tribe. Then the next thing is your religion before people will start talking about Nigeria. That is why you see people in the axis of the northwestern Nigeria that borders Niger and Chad. They feel more like Nigerians and Chadians than Nigeria. They owe more allegiance to those countries than Nigeria because they are united by the same culture and the same religion. So that is just what it is. We are not one. We have to recognize this, and our leaders are using this division, these false lines to divide us further. And let me even shock you. The constitution that the West left for us, they have three constitutions, Macpherson, Littleton, and Clifford Constitution. Those constitutions are far better than the constitutions that we gave ourselves. Does that not speak volume? That should speak volume. It should stagger our imagination. The three constitutions they gave us is far better. They even call it constitutional development. From time to time, they kept modifying those constitutions to fit the current need. But what are we doing? Anytime there's an opportunity for we to do something about this constitution that will remove things, that will set a clear-cut dichotomy between indigenship and citizenship, you see the politicians, they rear their ugly heads to make sure that they throw spanners in the wheels of those processes. Even if they decided to finally, if they finally allow those adjustments to be done, it is still in favor of some section of one part of the country. Was it Sir Ahmadu Bello or Tafawa Balewa, the one that openly said that he would prefer to employ a foreigner than to employ some people from some part of the country? I don't want to do any name calling this evening because this just is so searching. That is supposed to be one of our founding fathers, that he would prefer to employ a foreigner, that if they cannot find qualified people from his section of his country, instead of employing fellow Nigerians, that he will go for foreigners. And that has been the mindset of the people in that region. We have to interrogate. Okay, look at Buhari. He came to power. There are many areas in the other part of the country that needs infrastructure. But what did he do? They constructed a train all the way from God knows where to Niger Republic. And the annual trade that we have with Niger is not even more than $500 million a year. It is not even the fact that he built the train, but they insisted that only Nigeria will fund that kind of a venture. Usually, if you want to do that, both countries are supposed to come together. Maybe we fund 60% and Niger will fund 40%. We build from our side, they build from their side, and we meet at a point. That's what we're supposed to do. But because of his
Love
how
is
will I put,
nepotism.
there is nepotism, his clinginess to his tribe instead of his clinginess to his country. He did that. Niger didn't pay a dime, because if they had wanted Niger to pay a dime, they wouldn't pay. Maybe they wouldn't have the money, but it's a project that was dear to his heart. He needed to do that to cement both countries forever.
Not to cement both countries, to cement the northern part and Niger forever. He
Yes,
wasn't
yes.
even interested in the country.
In the country,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. I didn't put it out quite properly. Exactly. So those are the kind of leaders that we have unfortunately been blessed with. And I keep asking people, between racism and tribalism, which one should disgust you more? If you are in the West, you are being racially profiled. And if you are in your country, you are being ethnically profiled. Just like you were talking about state of origin. There are some states you go to, not it's not one part of the country, everywhere. Because you are from a certain state, you can't, it's almost difficult to rise to some level at the civil service. Even if you must, the process will not be seamless. You have landmines all over the places. You have to bribe, take your file, everything, one after the other, before you can achieve that. In your own country, I don't know how we can talk so much about racism and we just ignore tribalism, ethnicity. I feel more disgusted if I'm tribally profiled than if I'm being racially profiled.
Because you're in your country. It's not
I'm in my
supposed to be
country, I
so.
should have all the opportunities. And these things don't happen in this so-called country we are complaining of. They allow the best of the best are given the opportunity to climb. If it is time for scholarship, it's about the best. But here it is selection. If it's time to employ people, you get the best of the best that will qualify to do the job. But what do we do here? We do exactly the opposite. We present our worst 11 and we are expecting the best from our worst 11. It's not going to work. So back to the question now. My own submission is this: irrespective of what the guys have done in the past, the West, it is already in the past. There's nothing we can do about it. But what can we do? We can actually make the future better. And how do we do that? By taking a good look at what the fault lines are, by having or readjusting our constitution in such a way that no people can lord it over the other set of people. We adjust the constitution in such a way that everybody is equally represented. Now, I'll leave with this simple analogy. Lagos has been Lagos since God knows when, at the same time that Kano has been Kano. You know, two states have been carved out of Kano. No state has been carved out of Lagos. But even as it stands, you still have more local government in Kano than in Lagos. I think Kano has like 50 something local government. And Lagos has how many local government? Like 20 or thereabouts. And it is on the basis of local government that resources are being shared. So at the time you add Yobe, which was old Kano, plus this other state that was old Kano. If you add those two states to Kano, to this new Kano that was at par with Lagos in the 60s, you discover that those three states that made up old Kano now have like 70 something local government, almost more than the entire local government in the southeast. Come on, guys. One state, that is inequality, that is injustice.
And these things were done during the military, and then
Exactly. So
yeah,
it is
because
time. If
from
yeah,
one coup
instead
to another coup, and they were just
doing
doing
whatever they like,
whatever they liked, and
instead of
that's what
you
I'm
to
saying.
sit
And
down,
now, when the opportunity came that we now had a civilian rule, instead of them to correct it
they won't.
and ensure, they never did, and
They would not. That's
they
what I'm
also
saying.
followed the same lane.
So that's what I'm saying. So the ills that the Westerners committed before they left, we are complaining about that. But the ones we have opportunity to change, we are not doing anything about. The ones that's in our hand that we can change. Politicians everywhere, north, south, east, west, all of us, we are all guilty of this. So that's my submission, Mr. Black Panther. I don't know if I've been able to speak to the issues that he raised. It appears
I think
Black Panther is gone.
I think maybe he's dozed off.
No, no, I'm not gone. No,
Oh,
I'm talking to
okay.
someone.
Okay.
Black Panther can never go.
So I don't know. Another person take it up from there. I just made my submission. Yeah.
Okay, let me just ask a question, one more question, regards to this same issue. If you look at, when I talked about religion, you notice that, look at what's happening in the north. For example, if we say we're practicing democracy and Nigeria is there's something they call it, like, which means Nigeria is not restricted. It's not a religious
It's a
kind of.
secular state. A
Yeah,
secular
Nigeria
state.
is a secular state. So if Nigeria is a secular state, how is it possible for me to go to Kano, and because someone caught me with a bottle of beer, and then they brought the person out, you see that they burn the person to ashes, and kind of, what kind of a country is that? How is it a secular state? Because we need to be realistic to ourselves. If we're fighting, let the fight be real. Sometimes God may even be angry with us because He knows that we're lying to ourselves. We know the truth and we're not saying it, and we're not trying to even correct it because it's not possible. I go to Dubai most of the time. I go to some of these Muslim countries some of the time. We have events there. We buy, because the Muslims don't drink. We understand that, but they don't stop us from drinking. Even in the United States, you don't just buy alcohol on the street and start drinking on the street like that. If you're not junkies, you understand what I'm saying? If you're not a junk, you'll be arrested by the police. You see that you are in the bar, you sit there in the bar, you're drinking, or in a restaurant. You can't just buy a bottle of beer showing it like that. You understand what I'm saying? And start drinking on the street. You'll be arrested. You'll be given a ticket. Same thing. But here, if you come down to Nigeria, you a secular state, and then a hotel is brought down by a government, by a state government, accusing the hotel of selling alcohol. And then you go there, you brought down the hotel, which means you are indirectly telling me that Nigeria is not a secular state, Nigeria is a Sharia nation. That's the meaning. And if we don't deal with these things, we're going to keep going in cycle, in one cycle. All of these things, we've been analyzing all of these things. I mean, privately, we, you know, we'll be looking at all of these things. And this is the same case that the IPOP people also brought against the Nigeria state. an international court. So most of the reason you see Nigeria always running away from engaging IPOP on international court is one of the reasons. Nigeria government does not want to engage IPOP on international court. Believe me, they don't want. And this is one of the reasons because IPOP and some other agitators, they have a very strong case against the Nigerian state. Very strong case. You can't say call your country a secular state, a secular country, and then you have different laws, different constitution governing different parts of the country. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't work that way. If somebody moves from Lagos to Kano, who is not aware that Kano is or Kaduna is a Sharia state, is going to go into a bar and ask for alcohol, and then they will just take his life. And we want the country to grow. How do we want the country to grow? Who's going to invest in the country?
Can I add something? I think my issue with some of the excesses we hear about, specifically in the north, although you do hear some weird stuff going on in the south, to like, accusing a woman of being a witch, and they look
I
to
think that
do
was in
some,
Calabar.
yeah, you see some weird stuff, but generally, what people perceive of the north is that you step out of line, your life may be forfeit, and that is not something that is ideal in any kind of secular environment. And one of the example is that issue in Kwara where they tried to ban the lady that was trying to do her Osun, this thing kind of festival, from coming out to do it because it's supposed to be a Muslim supremacy state. So that is kind of stuff we don't want to be seeing. We don't want to be seeing a student saying the wrong word and is murdered for it. And the same thing, even a Muslim saying the wrong word is murdered for it. You can't have that kind of situation. And this sort of stuff is bleeding through the continent. It's not just only in Nigeria. You see it even in Sudan, where you see instead of Islam, because now they know they are all Muslims, they are using Arabization as a weapon, where they use say, oh, if you are not Arab, you are not supposed to control anything. This is the kind of stuff that is going on. Was it not? I was speaking to a modern Muslim in Nigeria. He did say that he grew up in Lagos, but he said that their beauty standard is basically an Arab woman. So it tells you what is coming down the line. These people, they don't understand that they are setting their own heritage aside and signing up to some other person's, some other foreign this thing, identity that doesn't belong to them, and they use it to malign their own people and fight their own people for no justifiable reason, which is very, very silly, because in the end, everybody is defending their own interests. Isn't that what France is doing now and America is doing in this in Niger? Everybody is there fighting for themselves. It's only us that don't fight for ourselves, and instead we come into our own countries to try to push the foreign agendas within our own people, as if that's going to get us anywhere. It's just going to reinforce poverty and destitute amongst our people. And in terms of other than these outright this in agendas to a kind of dominate the other groups in the country using foreign religions or foreign beliefs, the peculiarities you see in Nigeria, where you have sometimes you see people discriminate against each other, that is not new. It's not peculiar only to Nigeria. It's in every country. Like in the UK now, it's crazy how the UK is governed, really, because most of the leaders tend to come from the south, and they tend to attend basically the same school. Out of the last 6 prime ministers of the UK, I think 5 of them are from Oxford. That's just one university alone, or just one out of hundreds, over 100 universities in the UK.
They are rich kids.
That's what's going on. That's what it's telling you, that societies, they stratify, the elites crop themselves away. Question is, what's your elites doing? Are your elites basically a class of slave traders that just sell your people away to foreigners for their own privilege? Or your elites are there to protect your interests, like most Western nations' elites are there to protect their own people's interests? That's what they are there for. So our elites sit there and they sell us out. They are basically, especially the Tinubu name is associated with slave trade. Even you can't even make it up. And these people, they just sell our people for whatever little thing that they can get, just for little pleasures. And yeah, even history has taught us that this is not a good idea. That in the end, we're all going to be poorer for it. Even they themselves are poorer for it, because Tinubu, there's no, even Dangote, as rich as he is, he can't measure up to people like Jeff Bezos, the Rothschild, the Rockefeller. He can't measure up to them in any way. They are like kids to them. So this is a problem. You can't, and we are a mighty people. We are a mighty people. We are a people that many of our people are the ones that went on to see the world as it is. We are not young people. Sometimes they treat us like children because our leaders have made us appear that way. The other day, I was just finding out that there was this group in which state? I think somewhere in I think Plateau and Kaduna, linked to Kaduna. This group of people in Nigeria, turns out that the language they speak there seems to be the that's the progenitor, a kind of the base language for the Chinese language. Like it looks like these people are the ones that went to seed China. And it's just, when you look at this, it's like, how did we get to this point whereby the world history, this is the cradle of humanity itself that we are sitting on. Our genetic diversity is not like no other in the world. And we are blessed with such wealth and everything. And our leaders just sell us for trinkets, like as if it's nothing. And that is where our problem is. Our leadership, they are not representing the people. We are not for military action in Niger, but they will still want to go because they are not serving us. They are serving their masters overseas that they run to every time. And we should know by now that these masters that they are serving, they are not there for our own interests, because look at our lives. They prime us, they condition us to come and work for them. In the West, serve them and just die here, really. And the best you can do is maybe go back and they bury you in Nigeria. That's the best you can do. And then the next generation come again and serve them again. Until when they feel like it, they come over to Africa again and take the rest that they left behind. Because that is what will happen. If you remain weak enough for long enough, people will come and claim whatever you have left. It's just the nature of the world. Was it not the Bible that said they will take from the one that doesn't have and give to the one that has? That is the nature of the world. The Bible even has that in there. If you leave yourself vulnerable enough, long enough, you will pay the price. And I've been complaining about this thing repeatedly. We need to get our act together. That's the
price we're paying right now as a nation.
And this is not, it will be worse in the near future if we are not careful. Because I've been warning about this, that if the world resettles itself, this is an opportunity. When I said it earlier on, this, what we are seeing now, one of the shows I did on my channel, the second show I did on my channel, I said, opening window. That are we going to take this opportunity or make the mistakes of the past? That was the title of that this video. Because I saw that opportunities are going to show up in the next couple of years, but these windows are going to close. Like this one that is happening now, it's an opportunity for Nigeria and Africa to leap forward. Because now you have them by their scrotum now. You can hold them and say, you know what, you want to stay, or you want us and Russia to go on our own merry way. If you want to stay with us, this is what we want. And you demand heavy stuff, not petty stuff. Access to, in short, just demand everything that they just gave to India many months ago.
To Nigeria, please, can I just pause you, please? 30
go
seconds.
ahead.
You see, this is the point I was making earlier, because you said this thing before. So what you are even saying is that it's not really about don't go to war with these people or go to war. What you are saying is that we should have that leader that should be able to negotiate our interest at every point in time. That is it.
And the interest, when they grant it, it will serve the interests of the coup plotters too. That is the beauty of it.
Can I come in now?
Both sides, yes, please. That is it.
Yeah,
you see, you know the reasons why I brought this topic. I brought this topic in so that we can be able to trace where we came from, how we came from there, and the roadmap. What brought us to this kind of difficult situation we are in now? Because, if you see what I use to describe it, I use an injury to describe it. You see, we will not be able to solve the problem if we don't know the source of the problem. We will not be able to solve the problem if we think our leaders are the problem. If we think they are really the problem, we will not be able to solve the problem if we think we can only come here to say, oh, our leaders will sell us to the people. The question we should be asking ourselves, why is our leaders doing it? Somebody made mention of greed. Every country has greed. There's greed in America, there's greed everywhere. Why are we not using it to our own advantage? Because other countries are using it for their own advantage. Why are we not thinking Nigeria first? I mean, we have to go back to our history. Why are we saying we are one when, if you picture it, this guy has segmented himself. Oh, I'm a Sharia state. This one said, oh, I'm a Biafra state. This one said, I am this side state. What brought about this? Why is it coming up the second time? It came up the first time. It led to so many things, war that we couldn't even fix. And now we are about to go into it again because it was like a joke. When it came up before, it was like a joke. But when it blew out, then we started seeing, because if we got to look at it and we allow the things that happened in the past to come back again, we might not be able to get out of it for the next 10 years. It might last longer than the first time. It might, the second time, I bet you go to last longer. And that will take us 100 years backward because the whole world will leave us behind. Now, why are we not thinking about self-defense? Have we lost it all? Why is that ideal is not, why is it that we have not been able to bring out an ideology that will make us stand, that will bring the bond close and make us see ourselves as one bond? Why have we not been able to come to table and say, look, you're a Muslim, you're a pagan, but we are one. But we didn't know this before. We were existing before. We go to the farm, we cut this, and we invite you to come and eat. But why all of a sudden they said, oh, they reminded us, oh, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are not supposed to be together. But we will say we are together, but we are not supposed to be together. Why is that talk coming? Why is it that we are not able to address ourselves from our history down and we'll be able to trace the problem? Why is it that we are scared? We are fidgeting. We are scared of saying it because we don't know what will come up from this man's mouth to say, oh, let us break it. Why are we scared? Look, it's not going to break, if we say the truth. But we are just scared. It's not going to break because many nations passed through this thing. They thought it was going to break, but it didn't break. They even fought for, but it didn't break. But why are we scared that, oh, if we say, oh, we remove the religion, we remove this one, then we are one? Why are we scared?
It's not going to break. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised how many people that will support it. It's all these imams and pastors that will try, but most people will support it, especially the youths. They will support.
That is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because
religion from the
this
states.
century,
sorry, Black Panther.
Okay.
You started with a very important question that we shouldn't blame the leaders. I hope you conclude by proffering where the blame should be laid on and who should take responsibility for the solution. They should be able to tell us who bears the majority of the blame and who is responsible to cause this change. Please, you
Okay,
add it to part of your argument.
okay. My argument will be substance to anybody, rectifying it to make it more better. Now, we have refused the leaders that we brought forward to lead us are refusing to face it because they've sold all of us out. Now, we are bearing the brunt as a result of what we did to bring up these leaders to lead us. Now, if we as a nation, we that own as a people, we let us separate the leadership we have now. We that have the power to bring this leadership to a round table to lead us to the next century. They refuse. The responsibility and the blame, I believe, comes from us. Comes from us.
Okay, accepted. So, what is it that we would have done that we have not done?
What we would have done now might come in different dimensions. Now, we should kill the spirit of fear among us. That fear, because we have fear. Fear is something that will not make you come out boldly to be determined to face the reality. Now, we should kill the fear and we should make sure that we, the people that brought about the leaders, we came from us. We should not come together and forcefully bring ourselves to a round table. Look, it's not that, it's forcefully.
Black
Because
Panther,
if you want to
let
change
me
things,
add to what you're saying.
yeah,
Let me add to what you're saying. You see, as a programmer, if you do analysis, you find out that we've been programmed for a very long time to believe what we believe right now. A Christian had been programmed from his birth to believe his religion. Same thing with a Muslim. So the people who brought these religions to us, if you go back to the history, go check their background, majority of them were also programmers. So they know how programming works. So they know how programming works. So if they program anything, is anything that is programmed is like an application that is being deployed in the cloud and it has no defects. If you don't make any modification to it, it's going to be right there even 100 years until you modify it, make changes to it, and then deploy again. So we'll be programmed for a very long time. So they know how these things work. They brought in Christianity and they brought in Islam. But we are African. We were already African before these religions came into our continent. And we already had our way of living. And they were not the one who taught us about God. We already knew that God exists. And we already know how to worship God. So when they came in, they brought in, I'm not saying Christianity is not good, neither Islam is not good. No, that's not what I'm saying. But the way they taught us, the way they program us to use it against ourselves is what is very, very bad. Sometimes I don't listen to Nigerian pastors when they're preaching. It's like they preach hate into the society, hatred.
You know, yesterday I was having a conversation with Somalis, and you'll be surprised how viciously divided they are. And they are supposed to be one tribe, one religion, and one language. And it tells you that when they want to condition you to divide yourselves, I think I've shared a video about this before. It goes beyond religion. Even families, they will get you to divide against your own family if you are not strong enough to resist other
If you're not
people's
sound.
influence.
So the program was very wrongly.
You have to. That's what I was saying. That if you have to be strong enough in this life, because I don't think we've seen movies before where you see one person want to use their own juju against another person's juju, and the other person's juju, because if he's strong enough, then he's going to be able to push back. That is how life is. It's like voodoo. They want to cast their own spell on you, so that you see from your own point of view that it's not going to be in your own favor. But if you are strong enough to resist it, you can resist it. But our people will never fortified ourselves to be strong enough, physically, mentally, or this thing societally. We've never really done it. And until we start doing those things, this is why I'm very, very disappointed with Tinubu's government, because they came on saying that they were going to fortify at least our physical, this is security. So far, they've just been dancing around the bush, beating about the bush, and basically doing what I accused them of doing in the first place. They want to keep us strong enough not to entirely collapse and die, but definitely weak enough never to develop. And they will pretend as if they are doing work. It's like somebody digging a hole and covering it, say, I'm doing a lot of work, but you are just still in the same place. That is what they have been doing with us since 1970 or so. They've not progressed. They move forward, backward, nothing. While other Asian countries they've just skyrocketed, gone away. And they keep advancing well ahead of us. And they just kept us here till today. And they think that we are going to remain like this forever. This is not going to go well. If he carries on with this thing that he's doing, he's going to find out that his own regime will be removed. His own government will be removed from office. Because I can tell you right now, most Nigerians are against this action.
Do you know why those people, that the Asian tigers, do you know why they move forward? It is because they discover their problem. That is why you see the Chinese are going back to history now to know who owns those lands that are saying they have sovereignty. They are telling the world that they own that land because they went back to history. So we have to align with ourselves and say the truth and move forward the way they have done. That is what we should do. That is what we are scared of to do. Because they
didn't go back in history. They just made them what they all have in common, because all of them did it a little bit differently. What they all have in common is that they made themselves a strong nation to be able to mess with. If you want to mess with them,
it's also bound to history now, because they know that they had a trade line that this one is my brother those days. Why is it that we are divided? We need to drag ourselves together. That is what the Chinese did.
They knew that already by being invaded. When they were all invaded at the same time, that united them. They realized that, you know what, we have to work together here, because these people are not going to mean us well. And even the Singaporeans, if I'm not mistaken, it should be them. They were the ones that said they went to follow the poison shrimp policy, whereby they made themselves so strong that even if you are stronger than them, you try to come and destroy them. By the time they are done with you, it's like somebody that ate a poison shrimp. You're going to suffer the consequences of coming to attack them. And in a way, that's what North Korean policy is too. If you look at the way North Koreans are behaving, they are like, come and fight. Do you want one? Do you want some? It's like, when you see those poisonous caterpillars with shiny colors, they will be coming out openly. Normally birds will just come and pick any caterpillar and eat. But when the birds see them, because of their shiny stuff, they will leave them because they know those caterpillars are poisonous. The reason why they can do that is because they know they are poison. And that's the way North Korea behaves too. North Korea, if you want to mess, you want to mess with me? Come, let's see how you're going to enjoy this fight. That's their attitude. That is because they understand. They've lost a war before. They've seen their country being destroyed, and they built it back up. North Korea, how is it that North Korea that was almost completely destroyed, like completely, like Nigeria, all the buildings in Nigeria, almost everything flattened, and they built it back up. Their capital, they have an underground train station that is 100 meters underground all through the capital. Lagos, they brought a train last year and people are pushing it on the rail, something above ground. We can't even get it to work properly. This is madness.
You know why we cannot get it? All bounds to what I am saying. Because if we know ourselves, who give the best, to ourselves first before we go somewhere else. But if we don't solve the in-house problem, what I'm saying now, what we are shying from, if we don't solve it, there's no how and there's no way we can move along with other nations. Because remember this. I want to land with this. I want to land with this. Nigeria is a multi-ethnic group in one hollow. We have to know this. And we don't have to be scared. Because what is happening now, most of us are scared to say the truth. We are scared because we are believing that if we say it, oh, that might lead to division. That might lead to another Biafra. That might lead to another Arewa. We are not saying it.
What is the truth?
We are not saying it. Look, if one of my brother is saying, oh, me and you are not brother because I come from because we come from different mother. But we all come from one father. I now sit you down. What is the problem between us? You now say, oh, the way you treated me last year, you did this, you take cutlass, cut my fingernail because you hated me, you hated my mother. Then I now say, okay, I apologize. Okay, we are not going to do this again. Let us be brothers. Let us set up something that will make us strong. Let us set up an ideology that will back us so that no person will come in our means and break us again. Let us first love ourselves, because there's one of my professors always say this: love yourself first before you go out there. If not, you will not have a great performance out there.
You are saying, the only area I want to add something to about what you are saying is similar to what some people say about when they say make your security strong. They say either we don't have enough money, where do we get all those things? But the truth is we have enough to start building.
And
I think we have. Let me finish what I'm saying. We have enough unity to start building. That is my point. What Tinubu is doing now, we have enough.
That is why one man goes, look, let me tell you one thing. We don't have enough unity.
America is more divided than we are. I'm telling you, you know what happened with Trump.
To Niger, hold on. A financial top man that controls your finances, that give account to your finance in the state, stole 190 billion from the state, from the country he believes in, the country he loves. He wants betterment of his neighbor and his brothers. He stole 190 billion. Then this other brother said, oh, it's my brother. Let him pay 20 billion. Let him go. How are we united?
But that is corruption. That's elite corruption.
It is bound to the thing I'm saying. We don't love ourselves.
There's corruption in America now. It has to do with different tribes or regions.
Wait. There's bigger corruption in America. If I tell you one now, you go surprise.
I know. That's what I'm trying to let you understand. You are saying that it's a tribal or religious thing. It's elite corruption.
They are still saying, they will ask you, are you an American? If you say yes, they'll say, okay, good, go this side. Why are they saying it?
It's elite corruption. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with tribe. They are all corrupt. So it's only an Hausa man that is corrupt, or it's only an Igbo man that is corrupt?
If you put any Nigerian man for that Asari, when no get back up, when no know what you they talk now, he go do worse than Agbado.
Okay. Now then, why are you saying it's our division that is causing it then?
That is the source now.
No, it's a lack of awareness of what needs to be done, because the people are the ones selecting the leaders.
You don't understand the problem of Nigeria at all.
What you are trying to say. The truth is that Nigeria is divided. And I said it, we'll be programmed to be divided from childhood. We grew up, you understand what I'm saying? So it's difficult. That's why a Yoruba man will refer to an Igbo man, Omo Igbo. Where did it come from?
God bless you.
You see black people calling Americans white people all the time in America.
You know how many Omo Yoruba, Omo Hausa, Omo Fulani.
Fellow white people call Italians all kinds of names in America. In New Jersey,
those names you're talking about, those are niggers on the street. You don't
So
call
Omo Igbo, when they do that, they come and machete you. That is the same word that they are using too. When they say Omo Igbo, they are just referring to an Igbo man.
no,
They're not
they are trying
necessarily
to
saying
use
that.
it to identify your ethnicity, your ethnic
Yeah,
group.
but the
You
same thing they
understand
do in
what I'm saying? It's not
America too. They
supposed to be shown.
identify.
It's not if you're
No,
in
don't
They
say
are
the same thing they do in
Italians.
America, I beg.
no,
No, they
they
talk
don't
that
do
thing
the same
again.
thing in America.
It they
America is
vex me.
one.
They do
America
it
is
with
one. You have
Italians. They do it with
America.
the Scottish in the UK, and yeah, this is here.
The
Me
thing
here. They do it
when
with
they talk
Scottish
that
in the
kind
UK.
thing,
If you're
to
from
Niger,
Birmingham, your accent
to
give you
Niger,
give you. Yes.
to Niger, when you are talking about America, if you are not in America, if you use that book, you no go know, like
See, let me tell you.
America, look, America is one. When they say,
America is
are you
one.
an American? They don't even care about the state you come from.
They
Are you an
don't care
Hold
about your
on.
American?
state.
They don't care.
Let me
They
give
don't
you one
care.
joke. Let me give you one joke that they always tell in the UK. They said a man, a couple went to hospital to have a child, and they went
Think
and
capacity
they
is in the
misplaced their
house.
child. Let me give you this example. Now they misplaced their child in the hospital, and then they said, okay, there are only three options that among the children that they narrowed it down to three, and two of the children were white, and one of them was black. And they asked the couple, and they said one of the children, there's a Welsh one there, there's an English one, and there is a black child there. So they asked the couple they should choose one among the three children, which one is their child. So the man was like, he looked at the two white children. Because clearly he's white. He got confused. He said, no, I'm going to take the black child, because he doesn't want to take a chance and have a Welsh child. So that is a joke. They use that as a joke here. That is so bad that they don't want to have a Welsh child that they will choose a black person for a child. They used to refer to the Irish like dogs. They say no Irish, no dogs, no blacks. That's how they used to refer themselves. So this is
Niger,
we are
please.
in.
To Niger, can I just come in briefly?
Yeah, go ahead.
You've made a very solid point, but let's get it like this. Like that thing you said now, like the one you just rounded up with. Yeah, it happened in the US then. In the shop, they don't even start with dogs. They start with dogs. They even prefer dogs before Irish. No dogs, no blacks, no Irish. So, but
Yes, you're right.
the question is that to Nigeria, let's get it, even with that Welsh baby thing you talked about, even with the calling of the Italians, even with those things, but are they institutionalized? For example, if all kids, Italian kids, black kids, Russian, if they go for an exam, do they go to the extent of, for example, if black kids come top, do they go to the extent, or that Welsh kid you are talking about, do they go to the extent of denying him his rightful scholarship because he's black or because he's Welsh? Are they institutionalized? The one you are talking about is just I see it like a normal banting. Those things are there, they discriminate against themselves, but it's not as if maybe because you are Welsh, you cannot be able to become the prime minister or you can't serve in so
Actually,
special
yes,
position.
it can affect you. That's why you don't see a Welsh prime
No,
minister,
no,
and
see,
you hardly see a Scottish
listen
prime
to
minister.
Nigeria.
It can
The
affect
way
you.
it will affect you, it's different because you can't tell me that this prime minister from India is the first generation Indian, is the prime minister of the UK. So even if you say it
Yes.
can affect you, wait, even if you say it can affect you, it may be minimal. If a prime minister, even this Umana and Igbo man was in line before this lady came in, Umana of Labour Party was in line before Boris, after the exit of Boris. Umana is an Igbo man, a first
Okay,
generation
not
Igbo man.
Not
Umuna,
Boris.
rather.
Sorry,
Umuna.
yeah.
Umuna.
Not
He
Muna.
was
It's
a
not.
first
It was
generation.
not. Buckernut or whatever, the
Yeah, so
other
the point is
I
Yoruba
was
the
thing.
point
thinking about the Umana, the corrupt man they call.
no,
Never mind him.
Umuna, the point I'm making is
Umana
a
wants to go and
system
rule the
a
UK.
system like that, is that applicable? Can that be applicable in our country? These things are there. There's no perfect society. We must have to accept that.
Oh my
And
God,
even
is this lady a Welsh? What do
so
you mean? I think this lady says she's Welsh. Fumi, don't tell me you're Welsh.
somebody
I used to tease the Welsh all the time in the UK. I
wait
said,
now,
why
to
did the
Nigeria,
English not
somebody was
finish the job?
see
They look like they're
to
already dead.
Nigeria, Black Panther. I think
Okay, go
somebody
ahead.
was talking about programming. I don't know if it is P soft. I think that simply solves the problem. Programming entails that it's just like a flight. If you put a flight on autopilot, the aeroplane knows exactly what it's going to do. We have been programmed. We have just been programmed to the extent that if you are a big man in an office and people, it's time to recruit people, you have been programmed to look at their names to start telling you that, oh, this person is not Chukudi, is not Iyola, is not
Thank you,
Mahmoud.
Chris. That's what I'm saying.
That is the
Programming
programming. It's
for a
already
very
there.
long time.
Okay,
See,
Bishop, you were the
on.
one that talked about programming. Yeah, I picked that voice now. It is already there. It kicks in immediately. You can even look at it online, even on Twitter. If you see somebody does anything, they say they arrested a Nigerian somewhere, people will start checking the name and people will start commenting immediately based on the person's name. Based on the person's name, people will start making insinuations and innuendos just based on the name. That is the programming that Bishop was talking about. We have all been programmed like that, all of us. Including me, including
my point is
everybody.
that is not the reason why we are not progressing. We've just not taken action to see. You know, see, if that was the case, then how do you explain Somalia that has everything the same, but yet they are just as divided?
It cannot be the same thing everywhere. Now, in the case of Somalia, you see, there's always something that divides the people. No
But
matter
it
how
tells you that it's
divided.
not tribe.
No, wait. It doesn't have to be tribe at every point in time.
Exactly.
Sometimes it can be language, sometimes it can be belief, sometimes it can just be culture.
No, this one, they have it all. It's the same culture, the same language, the same religion. What is the other excuse again? No, name it. The same currency.
There's a breaking news now.
Yes.
There's a breaking news.
Fighting, no.
Which breaking news? Where is it breaking from? Niger Republic, or because that is
Bobo.
Don't get me started.
The ECOWAS chiefs has called off the strike on Niger Republic.
Yeah, good. Anyway.
Hold on. What channel was that? Just in case you found it on your cousin's blog channel.
David.
We have to be careful.
Cousin's website.
Google his cousin's blog site.
No, check it. Just check it.
Authentic news.
Maybe they're watching us. You know, we criticize them a lot today. We're still here. Maybe they
see, I'm sorry. Did you see? I sent a private link about the 5 eyes. These 5 eyes, you will hear Churchill talking about how the English, which I kept talking about, the Anglo-Saxons ganging up together to reshape the world. And when you see, this is why sometimes you have to look at power dynamics.
This is authentic. Sorry, it's the chiefs. The defense chiefs. This is authentic. As it stand my ground.
Do you have the link?
Go to, are you linked with David Deji?
No, I'm not in his Twitter this thing. Yeah, I think it's
somebody
Twitter
check it, you get the link there.
Okay, I'll look at that.
Yeah.
So the 5 eyes, that's when when I was talking about it before, that Europeans, they have their own tribalism that they used to govern the world, that the Anglo-Saxons were the ones in charge, basically calling the shot in the world today. I didn't know at that time that the 5 eyes existed, but based on the way they are operating, if you watch them, you will see the patterns emerge. And when I saw that 5 eyes, I wasn't so surprised because I heard about it on the news. Then I said, let me search online, and I searched it. And I wasn't so surprised to see Churchill saying, not American president, the UK Prime Minister saying, we as an English-speaking country, we need to band together if we are going to determine the future of the world. And talking about also assessing danger. It's funny, in a way, it was sounding a little bit like me to an extent, but what he was doing was basically they were ganging up against the rest of the world, against even Europeans. England, that's the UK, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they are the 5 eyes. They are the 5 eyes. So that should tell you tribalism is everywhere. It's just whether it's crippling you or empowering you. That is what it is. Because we allow tribalism to cripple us. We allow our divisions we even make it an issue. But when we see clear examples that people have slaughtered each other in the millions and they still come together to work together. So it tells you that the ingredients for working together and progressing is not because there's no division among them. There is something else you have to overcome. You just need to get over yourself and work together.
Let me remind you of something. Let me remind you of something. Their own is they do it like for fun. They don't do it to the extent of taking their fellow brother's life. So if you want to put that on a scale, Nigeria is zero. They go to the extent of taking their fellow brother's life. I'm not saying we are not one. For example, when it comes to even as a family, if you go back true to history, if you truly look at history very well, I'm not even saying that we are not one by blood. You understand what I'm saying? But we've been divided so much so that we can harm our fellow brother just because of, you understand what I'm saying? So we've been programmed that way, and it's difficult. Look at Nigeria. No love in the society, but you have mosques everywhere they're supposed to be preaching love. You have churches everywhere that's supposed to be preaching love. How come the fruits of these services we don't see it in our everyday lives? We don't see it on our people. People don't even, you understand what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's a big issue. It's a big issue. And the earlier we start to treat it, the better our land begins to heal, or the earlier our land begins to heal. Because there's no love on the streets. I mean, I'm on ground. I've checked everywhere. Everybody's looking hard. I don't even want to use that word. Everybody's eyes is up. Any little thing they get upset, they feel like taking someone's life. It's a poisonous society. How are we going to get out of this shit? It's a big mess. How are we going to get out of this shit?
I think to start fixing things, I think if you look at the way the leaders back down now in terms of this military action, because they sense that most parts of Africa is against it. I can almost confidently say maybe 90% of Nigerians are against it. So it tells you that they when the people change and not on their side, they are afraid, because they know if they go in there, chances are that they may even he himself might get overthrown in his country, because people are seeing what is going on. And if I was Tinubu, this was an opportunity to pressure the West and get something out of them, like get the kind of deals the Indians got out of them.
See, to Nigeria, this man is, look, the way Nigeria is programmed, no president, anybody, apart from somebody that comes in with the mentality and the capacity like Obi, before you can see a man that will emanate from Nigeria and go forward to tell you that what is the benefit to my people than to myself. That thing is not common among Nigerians. There are only few. That is why we still need to come together. If we don't love ourselves, we cannot love our country. That is
It's
what
an
we should
individual
know.
thing. I think it has to be an.
We need to, we see, apart from, if you start loving yourself first, then you can be able to go out and put the dimension of love, that same dimension, to another person. It's a seed. Now, how are we going to do that? We still need to come together and talk of how we're going to become a superpower that will come to the new generation. We need to talk, because we cannot go on like this. We'll do things haphazard. We'll come back to this Niger wash and start talking until all of us get gray hair. We become 90 years old. That is what we have been programmed to do and do and do and do until Nigeria goes. That is the programming they are saying. But we have to deprogram ourselves to now love ourselves. Then that will bring about we coming together, talk like a family. How are we going to be super giants and sell this ideology that we have grabbed now in Nigeria and sell it to other African nations? Because we have the population. If we can get that love among ourselves, we just got the population and the market to become a super giant in the world. But we still need to harness our differences. We need to take advantage of our diversity and make it work for us. It's going to be a very hard task, but we need to, before we can do that, we need to come to a round table and look at our diversity, harness it, and make it work for all of us, and we move forward to the rest of the world as a unit to perform wonders. If we don't do that, my brother, we'll go grey hell. I will what don't do, I don't go. We ourselves go do, I will go. It go remain. So we got to put that legacy down of coming together to see how we can love ourselves first as a nation. If we don't love ourselves, we will never talk about Nigeria. Nigeria will just be of a surface. But if we don't love ourselves, we cannot move forward in Nigeria. We'll keep on stealing the money, embezzling money. You keep on saying, our leaders are selling ourselves to the Western world. That is the same thing. Look, to Nigeria, I believe you have been saying this thing and you have been selling this message for the past 20 years or thereabout. I might be mistaken. But it has not yet sink in of having a strong military, a strong base. Position yourself in order for you to negotiate how it's going to benefit your people than how it's going to benefit yourself. You have been selling
I
it.
only started saying it in the last 8 months within the Nigerian space.
Do you know why it's not sinking? It is because we have not been able to harness our diversity. Having a 400 languages, it's not a child's play. We need to sit down.
I think the reason why it's not sunk in yet is because events has not proven me correct. And now every time like this about event now will remind us how vulnerable.
To Nigeria, you are right. You are right. Nobody's saying you are wrong. You are right. But for us to actualize your hypothesis and your theory or your ideal that you are selling, we need to harness the diversity. We need to come together as a bunch. If we don't do that, we cannot move. We keep on stealing. How can your accountant general steal 190 billion and it's let loose? My state governor steal more than he steal the whole government money. He was meant to pay just 50 million naira and he was let loose. Is that my own state governor?
I agree with you, but you are sometimes you miss the fact that like Nigeria now is technically 90% united on one thing. They don't want that war. They don't want that military intervention. The military intervention, they are united on that. They are united on not wanting it.
Is there any country that will love war?
Okay. Yeah, but that is a form of unity. You have to start tapping into the areas where they agree. Even America, they disagree on LGBT rights.
That is emergency approach.
On so many reasons, for too many reasons. So CM wanted to say something. Sorry.
So the thank you very much. The thing that sort of triggered my interest is what is happening in Niger. It's an opportunity to show African solidarity, to play the politics that the West has been playing on black people. And this is why I'm saying it. First, Nigeria has no business going to fight in Nigeria. In whose interest? Are we taking their uranium? No. It's France that is taking the uranium. The former government they toppled, not that military regime is the best of its kind, but the government they toppled was like a puppet government to France. A country with uranium and all those things, and they are still poor. Not because they mismanage it like Nigeria, because we are in charge of our resources, but we mismanage it. The French West African countries are more like a puppet to France. So the French government of France has the controlling share. Yet these people are poor. Now they've woken up to the fact that look, they have to take their destiny into their own hands. Even before this thing happened, privately in our different houses in Nigeria, we sympathize with them. Say, look at the French, the way they are controlling the West African, their former colonies in Africa, depositing. According to, there's a video making the rounds by this representative, Dr. Rekana. This lady he said something about the fact that about 85% of their money or so is deposited with Bank of France. And it is then that controls, all those things. Invariably, you are really not independent. So now that they've woken up, one thing we should ask is, why is Mali supporting their brother, even when it is not them. Why is Burkina Faso and the others I had getting interest? So to that extent, Nigeria has no business, to be honest. It's not in our interest. The only thing Nigeria could do, maybe as a fallout, is you can tell amass our military across the border, or maybe keep them on red alert in case any stray bullet comes, but make it known that we are not going. And use the position of ECOWAS. You see, this is time, sometimes I feel like I'm a diplomat representing Nigeria. This is the time you play the diplomacy of the West. When this is happening, all you need to do is, first of all, you rally around, say ECOWAS want to have a dialogue. One type of that, you send somebody to do shuttle diplomacy. As you are doing it, months, weeks, nothing has been achieved. That is what United States does. And then all these people. So when you know that it is the Western power interest that is coming in. They want to control the resources. They want it. So now, not that they are not controlling, but the thing is that why are these people trying to revolt now? So to that extent, I do not see why Nigeria should even be making move to even challenge this or no. All you need to do is that you will say that you will dialogue. Because this dialogue is what the West used to weaken us. You will be hearing of dialogue, shuttle diplomacy, send this person here, send this person. In the end, everything is still going. They will be delaying it because it's in their interest. So Nigeria has no business going to Niger to fight in the first instance. Apart from that, our economy is so weak. Is it the money we are borrowing? Where is the military? When we go there and now commit ourselves, you never know how it will lead. So I don't want it right from time. Because Nigeria is at the chair of ECOWAS. What Nigeria should do is that, at most you say it's an ECOWAS issue, you call them to a round table. So you say Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, everybody come to a round table in ECOWAS. They will come. But you are doing it, but don't show the interest that you want to go and fight them. No. All you need to do is maybe you play what the closest to Obasanjo played with Mugabe in 2002 when they were asking the West. We are becoming impatient with Obasanjo, like Tony Blair then. Obasanjo now told Africans, say, look, he said, Mugabe showed me the constitution Britain gave him. He said, when you read this constitution, you can't use it to govern a country. In which they tied everything, Britain will still be in charge of land, all this. Mugabe said, no, it's been a long time. They want to reschedule. So Africans should learn. If this is bring the liberation of the continent, I welcome it. Because I always say it, if you are with the Western world, learn their trick. Play it on them. Do not tell them you want to shoot gun with them. They might shoot you. But that diplomacy they use on us, you think something is happening, they know what they are doing because it's their interest. It is the interest of every West African for the uranium of Niger to be used for Niger people. That is the interest. And any Nigerian we have. Use this because if you develop, you can cross over. The Europeans go cross the border and go to different countries the way they like because if there's no job in Croatia, they switch over to Germany. If there's no job in Belgium, they can go to Germany. They have borders. They do it. It is in the interest of Europeans for Germany to be an economic giant or France there or this. They enjoy together. So why can't Niger be a giant? Maybe with uranium. If really we know what to do with uranium, we black people, we should be the people to buy it first from them. If we really know what how we have to be, and that brings me to what the president of Kenya is saying. Is it not the president of Kenya, but either one of the ministers who said that they should dissolve all this visa something in Africa. Africans should be ready to move like Europeans, move to any country you want, go and come, do your business.
I think it's Kenya president.
No, it's not the president, but it's top because I know president is Ruto, but it's like either the prime minister or minister, somebody high up. He's saying, bring your wealth to Kenya. Africans come and live in Kenya, all those things. Because Europe has taught us all these things. This is opportunity for Africans to rally around. And if they notice, because the West can't fight the whole of Africa at the same time, if they notice that the ECOWAS are tilting, somebody's making noise. If they notice that ECOWAS is tilting towards the Burkina Faso, showing a regional solidarity, they will pipe low. France cannot decide that the whole of West Africa is like you just call a meeting. The meeting will be endless. You dialogue. Next month, you said you are going to Bamako in Mali to host another one. From there, you are going to Guinea. All this will be happening. Nothing will come out of it. We know that uranium is in Africa, it's in Niger. Why is it that we Africans can't use it from African brothers instead of allowing France to carry it? Because they now realize that the poverty there is so much. How can Niger be one of the poorest countries in the world? Why they have uranium, which is very expensive metal and is being used today. You use it for nuclear something, every nuclear program. America is looking for it, even Britain, I believe. So why can't they make money out of it? That is, do you know what changed Tanzania? Tanzania before is now called middle income countries. It's Magafuli. When he came in, he called Britain and said, look, the gold we are having, you people are not giving us a fair deal. He said, no, I have to revoke all those things. Look at what we are getting. He changed it. Although Britain wasn't happy, I don't know whether in the circumstances the man died. But when he changed it, come and see money accruing to Tanzania. Before you know it, go and read about the man. So if Africans, that's why let us forget about what's it called, the corruption or enrich ourselves. This is the time. And if you go around to Niger, after all, okay, how can Niger have uranium? Nigeria is giving them electricity because they don't have. Yet France, that is exploiting them, cannot say let us give them this electricity and develop them. It is still Nigeria giving them electricity because somebody can only give you what you don't have. If you have it, you don't need to go begging for another person. So this is an opportunity for Nigeria to recalibrate and realize that it is not in their interest to go and be fighting a war with your neighbor. No, 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 no. You don't do that. You don't, and in whose interest to satisfy France? Who is France? Another colonial power. So we don't want that. What Nigeria should be thinking of is you'll be telling them, okay, please, please, we don't want war in Africa. We fought and all these things. We can always dialogue and sort it out. As simple as that. That is the only thing Nigeria will do. Leave Niger to exploit their mineral to their own good. That is what should be the overriding principle, and use ECOWAS as an instrument so that they do not point to one country because we have our own region. After all, why do they have NATO? Why do they have NATO? If they feel that Russia might attack Finland entered NATO just to have the cover. So ECOWAS should even embrace so many things, and when things happen, you say you table it before ECOWAS. You might say we meet in 2 months' time, we meet in a month's time. After that 1 month, you discuss, move to another capital, keep doing it like this, then the thing will water down. But as for fight, said no, we are not going to fight. We don't want proliferation of arms, because if we start, you never know how it can end. There's war in Russia and we don't want it. Arms deal, terrorism are everywhere. Nigeria can say, look, we don't know, it can easily escalate, so you had better calm it down now. We don't want it. Whatever it is, let the people of the diseases change. It's as simple as that. So I do not in any way, I've canvassed this somewhere else, I do not support Nigeria going to Niger for whatever reason to go fight who, on whose interest, sending our troops in harm's way for what? That's not what we need it for. I mean, Niger has been a friend. We've not fought with them before. Moreover, the what is going on now is about a French interest. So it's not even in a black man's interest. So for what? We shouldn't go there. We shouldn't do their bidding for them. Not at all. By the way, why should Nigeria should even be thinking of telling African countries, try and be independent. Your money in France or this thing, establish your own central bank. Or if you are going to use one currency all over the French West Africa, make the headquarter, maybe the Bank of West, whatever, can be in Mali or can be in Abidjan, in Cote d'Ivoire or in Senegal or anywhere, and then you carry on. I mean, this is an opportunity for
So
Africans.
is anything wrong if Nigeria establish that central bank and bring all African countries together? After all, Nigeria will still be the one to fund it.
No, no, there's nothing. No, I'm only talking because of the cultural affinity. They have French language with them. So if they, instead of going to France, they can establish it and be. I mean, the thing is that let Africans. Do you know that? What is it called? The meeting they held in this, was it in Kenya? Do you know that Africans have agreed that the dam, the River Congo, because of the force, the way the water descends. They say the speed generates a lot of current and it generates electricity. Say the Africans want to take it, they want Central Africa or whatever, African Union want to take it as a project that if they develop a dam hydroelectricity in Congo, River Congo, say it will supply electricity to 12 surrounding African countries. This is African initiative. This is the type of project, even if it will take 5, 6, 7, 10 years, this is the type of something they should be thinking of. Dissolve all these artificial boundaries that the colonial powers created and use it to, to bring a difference between this and that. So when I heard that, I said, look, it's like Africa is waking up. Imagine you going to develop a resource, something that is in Congo, which is the center of Africa. If you look at the map, use it, and then maybe Central African Republic, Cameroon, there, 12 countries they identified that will benefit from it. Why not do it? Why? If Europe can, if Germany can be the economic giant of Europe and helping countries like Croatia and all those, Czechs and Slovakia, helping them with their manpower needs, they come to Germany to work freely. They go in. Africa can do the same. Let them copy Europe. America is still far. America is a unique situation. Let them copy Europe. Different countries, but they cooperate among themselves. Even when the Portuguese is different from Spanish because of language, different from French, different from Swiss, different from Italian and all this, but yet they cooperate. So why can't Africa do it? This opportunity of Niger is very, very germane. They should utilize this opportunity and then move out from there. But the issue of war, no way. It can't happen in Africa.
They utilize it. We just hope they utilize it.
I believe so. I want them to, because there's
Mr. CM, you've spoken very well. That is a very good plan. We have good plans, but we have to set our house in order. Like what I am so happy what is happening in Francophone countries. Francophone countries have been a very big, heavy brick wall in Africa now because anytime the AU makes a plan, it is the French people will now send a message to the Francophone country for them not to do it. When they were talking about this open border, it was the Francophone country that stopped it. They disagreed.
The way France does is that, or maybe recently they have not done it. Whenever they have OAU, is it OAU meeting? So not OAU, AU meeting. The moment they finish it, all the Francophone will meet because they have their own. Just like we say, we English people have their own.
They have their own ECOWAS too.
No, something like Commonwealth.
Just like ECOWAS, yes.
So they normally meet. Mainly they are the western coast of Africa. So whenever they are just fresh from AU meeting with the communique. Before they start implementing it, France will always put their own, and they make sure that all of them gather either in Paris or in one tiny country, just like a Benin Republic. They are always in Port Novo or Cotonou. They go there and meet. So when they are talking, they will be emphasizing to them that, look, forget about all this. We are brother, fraternel. The way they talk it. I don't know, forgetting the trade, this in liberté, fraternité, and all those things. They will be saying this such that what the Francophone will implement among themselves will be more important to them than what they are going to do with the rest of Africa. So that is what France is doing. I noticed it. So anytime they have their meeting, it must be immediately after ECOWAS. After AU. They just put their own, either with weeks or days or whatever, they will gather. And when they gather, that is what France is going to touch. So who knows?
Because because what the French Francophone countries does, like what you have said, this thing has a ripple effect on some West African states, the Anglophone countries.
Yes.
It has a ripple effect because now you see my friend traveled from Egypt down because he more or less he travels a lot because he does a lot of tourist whatever. He does it for living. He goes around do all this kind of shooting. So when he was about to come into Ghana, he broke down from Kenya. He was about to come into Ghana. It was difficult from this one in Nigeria. It was difficult for him to enter Ghana they talk this, bring that, pay this. They come to tell and say, but in all West Africa, ECOWAS passport now.
It's
One
true.
are going to give a hit like this.
It's what Kenya. I think Kenya is playing. This their
Yeah.
new president. Probably the guy is really he's prepared. They want to really unite. He said we should imagine Kenya saying,
I
Africans
give my
come to
glass.
Kenya and live. Bring your
For,
wealth.
for
Come
top
and
television
invest.
there.
Come and invest in Kenya.
So I
Come
will
and
mix
live.
my
We
time.
want you. So that is good.
You know
The
why
the
most of these African leaders don't have the balls to really do it? Because many of them have stolen money, they've taken
yeah
money abroad, and they are
and
being
lodged it
blackmailed by
and
the
lodged it.
West. For example, Tinubu right now, you should know that he's being blackmailed right now. That
Of
was the
course.
reason he took that action. He just came out and make such statement, without verifying. I was expecting African Union to say, okay, we're going to set up a panel of investigation to investigate the allegations put forward by the Niger. You understand what I'm saying? If he has alleged that, oh, France has been brutal, economic wise, all kind of stuff, they are not benefiting anything, and they're taking uranium out of the country, and very a lot of poor people in, in the country. I was expecting African Union to say, okay, we're going to set up a panel to investigate his allegation against France, only for them to come out, make his speech, giving order as if they are the one who created
You
Niger,
know, Tinubu's doctor is in France, so there are a lot of personal interest. Shebi na
Yeah,
there they go treat himself. So you see, if I really that's why when I look at this thing, because I know the diplomacy the West are playing on Africa. Let us, when we have the opportunity, let us play it. This is our own time. This is our own chance to play that, especially in the West Africa. Before you know it, they refer it to AU. As it is delaying, France can't just come to invade the whole Africa like that. No,
never.
never. So they are looking for an ally. Who will they use as a this thing? Before you know
Who
it,
would do it for them?
before you know it, they will refer it to AU. AU committee will be looking into it. And there's nothing, if you look at this West, before you know, they say a peace envoy. Somebody will just come wear suit, speak grammar on TV, talk, say that this. 2 weeks before, that's what you see. Motion will, by the time you are doing it, that thing will be quieting, and you will
Yeah,
not know where they're heading to. So that
yeah,
is the thing, that is the what need Africans, especially ECOWAS, should play. They just call meeting in Cotonou or somewhere near Niger. Say all of them will meet in Chad. They meet in N'Djamena, Chad. What will they talk there? They stay there for 4 days. Say, not be to drink tea, pose for photo, say this is the summit.
They'll
They
drink
heard.
tea, take champagne and inkwobi. They'll come
No,
to talk
forget that.
rubbish.
No, that one too much. Just coffee, just coffee. All they need is to confer that everybody go wear suit. They on table, plug ear like I did. Then they talk, say, then go they show them. CNN go say yes, they are having, because that is what the West used to weaken the black people. That their diplomacy of. Then go they feed do 100 meeting. It never go change anything. They go join the
yes,
schedule and say they will go, because by the time you know it, they will involve AU. AU will now come a mediation team from AU. AU will hear from this thing. And do you know the humiliation? Where this thing going? Before you know, AU will say they will hear from Niger. After hearing from Niger, they will tell France to send a
this is
representative.
what I was
Li-
expecting.
listen. Just
Oh
listen.
God,
Just they will tell AU will tell France that they need France to come and present their own side of the this thing.
the
It will look
story.
like
You summon them like you summon them like a gaming.
yes, and the thing will look like they are looking down on them. The AU will say no, we just really want to mediate because these are former good neighbors. That's the way you talk now. You say
Yeah,
after all, the Niger and France, and don't call it Niger, you just say Paris and the Niamey has been on good. There's been a mutual relation. You trace it down to 60s. There's something you have to say. So we're waiting for France. It's a shame. France may withdraw. So before then, now, anything happens, say France is an aggressor. That after all, they've called them to a dialogue, and you don't want to
you
refuse.
refuse.
Israel know they will bomb Palestine. But if America call meeting, Israel go send their representative. Say
Yeah.
go for peace. This is you should know now. Israel will send say peace envoy. Then Palestine, Arafat will be there. Say Israel will say, you see, they are not partners for peace. We call a meeting, he doesn't want to
They
come. So
refuse. Yeah.
this is what Africans should do. You call a meeting, say Niger, come and present your own. Mali will come and even all this solidarity. After that, you say you need to hear from France too, so that we want to lose this thing. We don't want the escalation of tensions. We can't afford it. It's not in anybody's interest. These countries with the forged communal link since the beginning of the century. There's a way. Bring a good diplomat. They put it in a good prose. By the time they read the communique, France will now be thinking, say, these people are messing us up. But you can, if you do like this, people they will tell you that report you to UN that why should you invade
You
us?
know, when Tinubu heard that NATO asked African Union to immediately, Tinubu was like NATO, FMU.
Mhm.
they were, they were, they
You
were
know,
all running up.
see, say what Tinubu is doing now is paying more attention to the what is going on the internet,
Yes.
Yes.
because that is the problem he's having now. So anything he's doing is paying more attention to what is happening in the internet. He knows that the diasporans are there propagating the message
And
to the
that
rest
is
of
the
the world.
public opinion. That is
And
more like the
you
public
see this,
opinion.
this war where he wanted to go into. They listen to us very well,
Mhm.
when we're
That's what I'm
analyzing it.
saying. You see,
They
when we're
listen
talking,
to us very well,
yeah, they listen.
To be honest with you, at this
because
point,
it doesn't, it has
at
no
this point,
economic value
at
to
this point,
us.
I feel as if I'm in government as a diplomat. I know how to handle this. How to handle the West, because they are wayo. Now be diplomacy. You no go see them. This. It's just they call na meeting. We go drink tea, tire now. Say go
But
near me.
our African leaders supposed to know that diplomacy is equal to wayo.
That is
That's it.
that is before you know I'm Africa
Democracy self
before
now,
bef-
wayo.
before the way you go do and be say if Nigeria is the chair of ECOWAS, you summon meeting, emergency meeting now for Abuja, everything go just show. Before you know, it say next week they are meeting again
Again,
in Abidjan. Abidjan, it cannot be capital. Don't put it in Yomasokro. You go one rural area, go put them. Say
They'll
na
go
there
put the
they
meeting
meet.
there.
Then go everybody go say they are
You,
really said he
Mr.
said
TM, you were not here when we said one thing, and that thing would have killed. It would have damaged the image of France and the entire Europe. I were saying here that let the president, the head of state of Niger, let him open the book of uranium. How do they sell them? Who they take them?
no.
How do they do them? Make
Now
you open the book, make the whole world see them.
the meeting where Africans ECOWAS they call them now to come there go on the clap hand now to bring the facts like this now.
Bring the
You know
book,
yes.
open the book, make
when
the
you
world
open
see
the
them.
when you open the book finish for ECOWAS, the word we know France go don't hear it. Then you go someone France say ECOWAS want to dialogue with France. You know the meaning. When you call you table this one now.
You go open the book. Now that
do
one
you
go
know?
shock their body.
Do you know? Let me tell you the man who played it. Who played it, but I don't know. There's a man they call Sam Nujoma of Namibia. Sam Nujoma of Namibia. There was a time Britain had what is it called? Britain had was it diplomatic something? Which country was that? So Britain was treating it. Sam Nujoma called the meeting, said, "Why is it that when African countries have a misunderstanding or something, they will insist on bringing it to Commonwealth. But when Britain had their own, it doesn't bring it to Commonwealth."
Come on, work.
He asked that. I remember he asked that question. I remember, yes, Sam Nujoma of Namibia. So you see, the West, what they want, they respect you if you play their game.
Yes.
They know that you've that is how they weaken Africa. And do you know that this thing is happening though? France they go underground midnight. They go they talk to some people safe in Africa. You don't know. Because when
Yes.
they're yes, now I may not point the country exactly. Okay, do you know why Algeria don't indicate interest? Say then go join Mali and Niger. Algeria is one country. Algeria and Guinea are the two countries that hate France to the last. The reason being that that French War of 1960s, War of Independence, it was so bloody. There's nothing. They fought France, really fought them.
You know,
So
France almost didn't want their colonies to go.
enough, not it's
Almost,
just
because
not,
They know they want their colony go now. They know
yeah,
they want them at all.
so most of the country they've let go, it always results in a kind of bloody war, fights.
Algeria,
You know.
Algeria. If you see that of
Go and check 80 now. They are the one that ruined 80 now.
it's true. And Haiti fought France so to get their independence. If you don't know,
They never
Hey,
survive now. 300 years agreement that they sign.
Hey,
300 years.
Haiti sign Haiti. So
Now
so
this
to me,
France,
why people may be panicking for this? Now I just say, hey, I wish I'm a diplomat. I go really take this thing. Now me, I go suggest and call our African brothers. Say, look, we need to be
the
having
thing
before
really
you go.
affect me. Oh. You know why? Because then go one. Tinubu na very crafty, demonic person. He go because the war go extend to that border side, and it go
You know,
affect the state. And any
Tin-
state where it affect, he go call martial law.
Tinubu is
And when he
compromised
don't
already
enact
because
martial law, the
Tinubu is
court cease to
compromised.
exist. He go come.
Yes,
Now try go do with that. Now the court go cease to exist. If really
Tinubu.
he
But
enact
that,
martial law,
but
the
that's
court
where
cease to
he would
exist.
have been removed, because the military would have been angry, and that's where he himself would have been removed. He's a smart guy too. You understand what I'm saying? So him too trying to retract his step. He knew that if anything goes wrong, the country is already at its boiling
By
state.
the by the way, normally as a commander in chief, before you commit your young ones or your youths to harm's way in terms of war or whatever, there should be a robust debate at the parliament.
Yes.
Has they debated it? Because the parliament represents the
We
people.
get parliament.
No,
Chineke, we get.
see now. So because the parliament, every square meter of Nigeria is represented at the parliament. Somebody
Did
is
you see when
representing.
Akpabio was reading it? He was even reading as if he was afraid.
He
So
was
because
fidgeting now.
because they haven't, because the 360, no, the Senate is different. I mean the House of Reps, because that is the House of the people. The 360 member House of Reps must be present, filled up to capacity, and each and every one of them must stand up and say something before they put it to vote and then authorize the commander in chief. Oh, that is how the way it works. When the House didn't
In
veto
Nigeria,
it, I
does he
mean,
go to the house or straight to the Senate?
that is part of the reason. If not that Tinubu is
Yes, because
compromised,
what we saw today was that it was the Senate that was reading it.
It was the Senate direct he took the letter to. That
Yes.
means it's going to be approved by the Senate. Because
and
that's the highest house.
normally it's not the. I don't think it's the Senate
It's
can
not supposed to
debate
be
it,
Senate, it's supposed to be the
but
house
it
or
should be
joint
House,
sitting.
because Senate means that the whole state is equal to two senators, but House is different. Some states have more House members than others, so
Yes, yes.
that House is meant to reflect the population. Anywhere, let's say a place like Lagos is thickly
You
populated.
see,
If they
when
present,
we copy American system, I just they laugh. The house supposed to be more powerful than
yes,
even the Senate because the house now they produce the third
uh,
person when go take
the,
over government. That's the
after
speaker. But we can't
after
make him
vice
the
president,
Senate president.
it's true now.
It's disgusting.
They don't understand. And the house, normally why the house is powerful is the house reflects the people. If there is a major
Yes,
debate on war, is the house you go to.
it's the
Is the
house that is supposed to
is
go
the
to.
is the house you go to. Senate is mainly like to approve executive institutions and ministers, all the but the real thing is at the house. And even to debate the budget is at the house.
It's at the house. Yes.
It's at the house. So, but in our own case, because Tinubu is compromised, so he's not in a position
Now
to really
backyard everything.
it's not in a really in a position to art.
We like
He's struggling with credibility.
backyard there.
He's struggling with credibility first. That's why the Niger say we can't listen to you. He's struggling. No, I'm not making it up now. He's struggling with he's
That was
struggling
a
with.
big blow. That was a big
He
blow.
said, do I know? Who even a deaf will hear it. He said, do I know? So the guy, and the French knows that the person you want to prop up is not popular at home. So
They're popular at all.
it's not popular at home, at his own country. So South Africa is discussing it on TV, illegitimacy. Niger, Raktagami is telling him we won't listen to you after all. There's one broadcast that makes sense. So I don't know whether the guy is an army officer or what. He wear kaftan white. I don't know. He been at
That guy that was analyzing
he said when the constitution give you 5 years, another 5 years second term, and you do the 10 years, you do the 10 years and still want to go change constitution. That is cool now. That is cool.
It's cool. And if another person coming, he go change them again. That's +1 again.
He said it's cool. He said, okay, the so-called civilian, when you do Waye election, take contact. It's cool because the people didn't elect you. And then Tinubu they refer to. So in fact, no, it's true. I believe them. I listened to that. I said, maybe this is the thing that will lift Africa up. Given what the people in Kenya, the Kenya president is talking. That thing, it means a lot. He said, Africa, come and live in our country. Come to Kenya, bring your wealth. Come and live here and work and make. That thing. He said, after all, Europeans cross border, why should we put in visa? You want to go to South Africa from Nigeria, visa. You want to go, he said, for what? It shouldn't.
Africa to Africa.
Africa should be a case of you start your car, you buy petrol. You drive from Lagos, maybe you get to Calabar. You cross to Cameroon, you buy petrol. Still the journey till you get to South Africa. That's so you go to drive and they go.
Look at Canada and United States. You have, if you have a green card in the United States, you can cross and go work in Canada.
Yeah.
You see?
You can imagine that. Yeah. Green card, not passport. Green card.
Yeah. So yes. So Germany did their own. I mean, what President Ruto or the Kenyans are saying, there are a lot of, in fact, I said, why shouldn't we that is, bring your wealth as long as you come, so that Africa will rise up. And somebody said, why is it that Africa has the whole wealth, yet they are the poorest? Why? They are not asking questions. You have to remove France now. This is how to diplomatically.
You see now,
yeah.
For instance, now, if I want to get into Canada, there's one card that I applied for, and anybody that wants to apply for it, though sometimes you want to combine with passport, they're expensive, but me, I decide to have it because I don't want to be carrying passport all about. So there's a card, they call it, I think just like e-passport. You just carry the card. You don't need passport. Just go to the border, swipe them, you move. That's all.
You see?
Just go to the border, swipe them for the machine there. That's all. They don't know say they're inside.
That's what Africa should do. In fact,
that is what you don't need to carry those big book about now.
This Niger crisis, I'm looking at the positives.
This Niger crisis is opening Africans' eyes a lot.
I'm telling you,
a lot of people debating it, and almost all countries in Africa, they are giving credit to Niger.
And can you imagine if now Peter Obi and they are the seat of power in Nigeria? You will not see what they call. You will talk of economic all this because nobody's going to war on behalf of anybody. That shit. We can't go and be fighting ourselves just to please France for what? How can a country have uranium in large quantity and yet they are very poor because France is in control? No way now. No way.
It to say that boy open that book of uranium export. In short, France don't lose hope. The entire colony of France, then go revoke. That was what I was clamoring
on. What China
Let them
did.
Open that book.
All Americans, every American investors, they go to China and they build factories there. They start producing right there, and then they export from China to United States.
Yes.
That is it. That is what
You see?
that is it.
So which means investors will come in. China will not allow you to take the raw materials out.
Yes.
You come in, build the factories, then
Create jobs.
create jobs, opportunity,
Yes.
train my people. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you're building a factory, you got to train how to, use the
Yes.
machines, the equipment,
Yes.
kind of stuff. From
Pay
there,
tax. Pay
yeah,
tax.
pay the tax and then export the products out
And
to
you
your
still spend
country.
some of the money in their country.
Yeah, you still spend the
You
money.
still
Yeah.
spend the money. No, no. To be honest with you, I can understand, but that's why sometimes anything that you did, if something is crooked or crookere, that's why Tinubu is lame dog.
Like
Na
Kurukereti.
krukere president. Because I
That man
mean
a
you
If you
can,
wanted to
criminal.
take this step and look at what Nigerian will say, they'll say, "Oh, okay, oh yeah, yeah, we don't want," and he
yeah,
find out that man, this is a no-go area. We're not going to
listen, no,
win
no,
this
no,
war.
no, no.
The,
We're not going
the
to.
guy
Even
na crook
even
now. He don't already
even
dey
if
target the money when he go get during the war.
even if
That man a crook.
even if anything, the fact that the interest of a fellow African is involved. If it were, let me put it this way, that it is Niger versus Mali or Burkina Faso, we might be saying, why
Or
should
maybe one person is being oppressed. One African
uh,
country is oppressing the other
but
African
but
country,
for the fact saying na France,
all the way from
a
the other
white
side
person,
of the sea.
I don't know. Be say the question of hating people don't arise. Just play them their diplomacy because that is what they do. Play them that their game. This is opportunity. You go to not be meeting. Carry flame before you know.
Therefore, haters finish for Africa or any Nigerian passport, they will only beat you die for there. We just get luck.
Mhm.
It will say
Play
go
the,
that war, we are in trouble.
play
Everybody.
play them. I mean, it will be suicidal to go for what? Now? I can't even.
I,
Yes, now.
I was just praying to God, make this man no go war, I beg. I
Mhm,
still want to go out because may I go enjoy it there. Make you
mhm.
no go war, I beg.
Nothing they go. Why for what? Because to me the interest, my own is just not that. I mean, even if Nigeria is like this, as broke as we are, and you invade our country for no reason, we go fight back now. I mean, nobody can. We can't.
Yes.
But in this case now, what interest? The question is, what interest are you going to Niger to protect with Nigerian troops? When you see America, they go fight in Iraq. Later then go come carry over the oil well, give contract, begin repair
Now,
roads. Americans go
you,
benefit.
you take a look at it right now. They cut off the electricity, which means Nigeria is losing money already.
I don't like that.
You
Actually,
understand what I'm saying?
as much as I don't like it, it
Why would
doesn't
you
show.
cut off their
Why should you call
electricity?
them? What do
That's
they
too
do?
bad.
After all, last year you gave them electricity up till January this year, February, March, April, May, even June. Last 2 months there was electricity. Suddenly in July you cut it off. No,
Why would you cut it
that
off?
doesn't.
I mean,
No, that
well,
no.
I
You
And
mean,
you
what did the
know
citizens?
the
What did the
secret
citizens of the
come open
country
now
do?
be
What did
say
they really do? You have issues with the government, and you suffer the ordinary man on the streets.
I
That's
don't. I
bad.
don't. I don't believe in that. It's just that sometimes we black people. I mean, there are things. You see, I believe. Do you know what I want in diplomacy? Even if it is not a good diplomacy, but as long as you are protecting your interest, you don't care about what others say. That's why America, when they want to do some of these their thing, they don't care about what you say. They do it. Is it not here? I told you people that George Bush, this Kyoto agreement, it was Obama that rectified it. George Bush Jr. that handed over to Obama. I saw him on TV. He said it. BBC, they showed it. He said, I will never sign any agreement that will put Americans out of job. And they are talking of how to reduce air pollution. Say America is one of the biggest polluters. Then the guy he refused
Yeah.
because he want to protect American interest, not in terms of whether the pollution they kill people in China or Africa. He doesn't care.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
American job. So what what president should be doing is when you go sign this. No, you go to call meeting. That is how to, because that is their own. Oyibo believe in a diplomacy meeting, and that meeting a meeting in Switzerland. Before you know, they don't move to somewhere in Oslo. Whether it's cold or not, they go there, go drink tea. Straight the other week, they say they are going to join and then form a committee to interface. This is what they will be doing. Nothing will
Yeah.
come out of it. In the end, they have the interest. So this one, You meet in Mali. He said you can't go to Niamey in Niger because of this thing. Let's meet in Ouagadougou, in Burkina Faso.
You just dey postpone everything.
After that, you bring it to Port Novo, Cotonou them. Then
Then go tire.
when you go Ivory Coast, you say, oh, now you people are going not in Yamoussoukro or Abidjan. Now one rural area where one hotel there by the seaside. Now there I go host them. Not be that day. They
Ask them,
correspond.
regards to Ukraine, they are still having meetings
Yeah, exactly.
in different
Yes.
countries. Regards to Ukraine,
Yeah,
they
and
are
the
still
thing is,
having meetings.
so I
You
don't
know,
see. To be honest, at this point, I said, I wish I'm a diplomat among. Now I go show. I go every plane go say, we dey go meeting. So when you go the meeting, you said you are expecting France to come and present their own side.
side of the
No,
story.
how can do you think France can appear before AU? You know, then go
Never.
say,
Believe me,
you,
they'll give up.
Mali, look, Burkina Faso or Niger go escalate and go reach AU. Say, may they
Oh.
meet for Addis Ababa, go there, go report. Before you know, say they are going to have one type of, to sign one accord. It should be in Windhoek, Namibia. The next week they fly. We have cities in Africa where go they host all this. Do it. Before you know, everybody go, then go quieting. Because if they open the book of this uranium, African leaders go say, wow, oh yeah, France, come and present your own side. If you no come, and then go report, say, you see.
They no go ever come like.
Then go say France is the aggressor, that is not cooperating. They
They go put
want
am for
to,
paper.
For
he said
France to
because
come and sit, in front of black people and begin to present, judge. You think never?
no, in this case, no be said they no go. Supposing they are coming on their own accord, but this one now we summon them. That is the difference. Now
Yeah,
we summon them.
they will know what to come.
Supposing France want favor, let's say they want to host the World Cup, and they needed African vote, they can send somebody their president go and they address AU during their meeting. Then go come because that one
Yes.
they are coming because. But this one is that they are on their own. You summon, they say come and Niger don't present their own. Let us hear from you too because we really want to. We don't want two former friends to this. Africa won't like it. We want peace. You just use that peace. France come and present. So tell me, what in France go talk about uranium in Niger? Waiting.
You go put their nyash now.
It is said they don't know something. Before then, maybe even now, me and you they talk. France go down, they go underground, they lobby. They no, Igbo. Now we know they play their. That's why black people are not diplomatic enough. That's why the white ride us. If you play their game with them, then go respect you.
We said it this afternoon where we're expecting them to set up an investigative panel, to say, okay, we're going to investigate this issue, all the allegations, then before we'll give you a response. You don't just wake up one morning and then start issuing statement and an ultimatum as if we're all mad people and animals, someone just pushing your head, just a whole country, over 200 million people, somebody's giving out that from the other side of the water, and then you are started telling us that, oh, you're sending a bill to the house so that you can get an approval. I will accuse them of trying to use the fuel subsidy to finance the war, because maybe that's the reason they took up subsidy. As if these guys are listening to us. You think?
Oh yes, it's true. To be honest with you, if you learn the white man trick, you know that this world we have everything. Now we know they play then their game. If you play, then we know. By the time you do, you say you form a committee, ECOWAS committee of 8. You just this. He said you refer it to them, they will now look into it and come back and refer it back to the house.
Call BBC, CNN, and all the major.
Al Jazeera go even like them because now Muslim country, so then go scarce it like he said a committee of 8. What you want is they've discussed that Mali, Niger, Republic should
If
go
you
and
call
bring
Al
the
Jazeera, you don't put their
uh,
nyash finish with that.
so
They
if
no go
you
like
told
that.
no even Al Jazeera say good. Now this one they call what is it called? This one of Iran. Hey, you know the this thing on them.
Oh, it looks as
Hey,
if I know that one you want to mention. I forgot
press
it.
something press something press something press something I
This,
forgotten the
research.
something press of Iran. Huh? You invite them, all of them, the world media go there. You address them, say, look, this is something that we don't want. Look at war in Europe. No, war doesn't do good. It's a former France is a partner to Africa and Niger. This we want to look into and mediate to make sure all these things. When you talk and finish, you say
You know that
there's
TV
not.
station you tried to mention just now? It's what drove them away from Iran.
I think what is the name? Press. Hey, oh, I forgotten
Man,
something.
I
Press.
used to watch that TV.
I don't. Iran, Iran. You know, let me tell you this thing. You know, Iran is
This
a powerful
they
country.
stage
Eh,
BBC and CNN. Believe they stage them
if I ask you
big
now,
time.
have you heard about the Museum of Arrogance? Have you heard about it?
No, yeah.
The Museum of Arrogance was the Iranian Revolution of 1979, in which
Mm.
Iran invaded the American embassy in Tehran, take over the embassy, seize the 53 members of staff working there, and blow up the thing. You know, till today, Iran and US no get diplomatic relations. Till today, me and you, they. So when they drove out the embassy, they took over the Saffron is their land. They they sort of cordoned off the place. I think they beautified it and call it the Museum of Arrogance.
Oh, the museum.
Eh, if you
Oh,
hear
now
the
I got you.
if you hear the Museum of Arrogance, it means former American embassy in Tehran. That's what that's they say it's Museum of and they place Iran, they place British embassy in Iran on watch, 24-hour watch. Do you know why? They said that whatever America, because they severe diplomatic relation, whatever America wants from them, it goes through the British. So the British is spying on them. A lot of Iranians say that they don't need the British. Let them expel them. We don't want diplomatic relation with them. That they are agent of US. That US need anything from about Iran, they go through British. Look, if you understand the international diplomacy, you will know that Africa, now we the hold ourselves.
Africans be holding
I'm
themselves
telling you,
down for a very long
play
time.
them, play them their game, because when when you start calling this meeting committee of 8, ECOWAS committee of 8 to look into this thing, they report to the committee of a whole house. Committee of a whole house will meet in 6 months time to review. Time never, this year never finish. This year don't finish now. So France no go know it. So, and before you know it, they said they are still waiting for France to come and present
To
their own
present their
side.
case.
Nah, yes, because Niger has reported it to ECOWAS as a member of ECOWAS. Therefore, we are waiting for France. Let me see the shame where France go just carry fire, come the open before. Let me see the shame. So that thing go make them, they go think twice. It may be in France go even they call for their own meeting with and say no. He said the thing is out of their hand now, that they should go through ECOWAS, the regional bloc. So when they are doing ECOWAS, ECOWAS will refer to AU. This is what Africa now. Before you know it, the thing go down, they dilute, they quiet. But you have to be on the watch.
Can you
So
imagine this?
so
These
they
guys wanted to set a war on African soil just like that.
yes, if you see, when I realized this was when Obasanjo supported Mugabe in Zimbabwe, 2000, I think 2002. Because this Oyibo, Britain want to go through to take over the land. The issue of this is they want to go through Thabo Mbeki or South Africa, and then Olusegun Obasanjo. So Thabo Mbeki is a supporter of Mugabe, doesn't even hide it. So they went through Obasanjo as I think AU chairman then or something. Obasanjo had Tony Blair and the EU. He now went to Mugabe. Mugabe give a constitution. Say, look at the constitution Britain write for me. May take organize my country. Everything they tied my hands. So Obasanjo read the constitution. Obasanjo brief. Obasanjo said, when Mugabe showed me the constitution, I was shocked. So they are still using this type of independent constitution. Now that is the cause. So Obasanjo said, no,
Crazy.
with that constitution, you can't govern a country well based on that constitution. So it also, if you remember what happened to Mugabe, they said all African countries are supporting him. Even Gaddafi then was alive. Gaddafi supported Mugabe. So that is the solidarity. And before they weakened Britain. So that is the issue. So that is what Nigeria should do in Niger or ECOWAS. You don't go and then expose your brother. No way. And you won't tell them, but you just use meeting. Meeting here, meeting in Cotonou. The next 2 weeks, you meet the Committee of 8 will be doing their own. You go to African Union. They do your own because United Nations permanent seat is for them. So you go to use Africa, then invite France. May come brief the committee. And
But
let us.
that's another thing that Africans don't have seat in they
In
call it
UN.
United Nations.
Permanent. They wanted this. They said it should be extended to 10, such that Japan, India, Brazil, one country from Africa, meaning Nigeria, then which other country again? To make it 10. Okay, China is already there. So Japan should be there. I think either Australia, then you have your India, you have Brazil and Nigeria. Oh, no. Not Australia. You have one Arab country, either Saudi Arabia, to balance up. Yes. So and if you bring this in, they go don't dilute their power. So if France want anything, maybe one other country want, you first of all go and get your African brother
Yes.
with 54 votes, 54 countries. So you get African brother, you are sure of 53 votes. Then if you are a Muslim African, you go to the Middle East. Maybe you get Saudi, join your own. Who go the veto? Then you look for Russia, whether Russia go agree do business. Yes, you buy Russia. So that, because America and Britain will always go together. So because of English.
Always. In fact, most of the interest America fight for is for UK.
It's
Most of
true.
the things. Look at most of the wars that America fights. They not that they really want to go do those fight, but because of UK, they will just go.
UK,
And another thing
you
I
know,
don't understand about UK,
you know,
even in America, we complain about them too much that they should
uh,
take their hands off our politics.
uh,
These guys
you
are
know,
everywhere. Believe
you
me.
know, the thing with UK. Let me tell you, even here, they are not happy that America is their big brother. Let me tell you one thing. At a time, some diplomats say, but why is it that every time there's a conflict, America will use their air power, go and throw bomb, destroy all their telecommunication airspace, then tell Britain to be picking the pieces. Britain will
Okay.
move and go and put. No, oh dear. The thing pained them. He said America will do it from the air because of the air power. Bah, 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 bah. Do everything. Then tell Britain to move the land troops. Britain go there, go they keep peace. America. He said they don't like it. They don't hear now. They said America is to go and create the problem. Then
You
British
not
will
go
go.
blame anybody now. America spent $1 billion for F-22
Mhm.
to build the start aircraft. Where we say if you fly at low lot altitude, no radar if you catch am for this
Yeah.
world. They use $1 billion, and America has about 32 of that aircraft. They don't
No,
want to sell them to anybody.
no, they can't now. It's
So
an
if someone and they say they send 5 of those aircraft enter any city, it go finish one city within 20 minutes. It go ground one city.
or maybe because anything, because it will evade the radar distance, so it can happen. It can do any damage now because you don't see it, you don't even know, and they will know your target. In fact, if you see when the British diplomats they were on BBC in those days, I used to know them. They say, but what is this? All this America will just invite them because France doesn't go. Russia, of course, no way now. Germany, it's only UK. So they said the UK, America will go to Afghanistan, use their air power, destroy air defenses, everything, destroy. Then tell Britain it is now clear. Let them rush their ground troops.
You know
You go
what? You know
see.
why? You know why British is always go. You know why? When they move in on ground troop, they start stealing. They're used to stealing.
Of course,
resources.
they
Yeah.
are good. They are,
So
they are
once
good at
America
that.
always paved way for them to go in and stay. For example, like in United States, if the politics is very hot, it takes one line of statement from is it Beckham Palace? Correct. Just one
Uh,
line of statement. I mean,
Buckingham
just
Palace.
yeah, just to mention one candidate's name. That's all. That's all.
It's true. It's a,
It's
it's a,
finished. The
according
other
to
candidate will have to work hard. I mean, like,
according to British,
work hard.
the British
Otherwise, he's going to lose the election.
the British diplomats, they said that they have a special relationship with America. That is Britain and
No,
US.
they put their people everywhere. It's their people in politics, in finances. It's their people everywhere. They control everything, and them and the Jewish people.
Anyway, gentlemen, well, that is it. To me, now it is now that Nigeria, and we are I wish I'm a diplomat representing Nigeria. Hey,
Now to
now,
pepper them.
now France go know say we know what in them. We know what in them know.
France go cry the peace for body.
Not be meeting before you know. Say they call another meeting for Yaoundé, Cameroon. Say
They go peace for body.
meeting there Yaoundé. When I go there, go do presentation, talk. France no go come. He say, well, France didn't show up. We have to join it, and then the next venue for this meeting will be somewhere in Guinea. Somewhere in Guinea. You tell Guinea, say
you take the round Africa.
no, the French this thing now. He said we're expecting France to come and present their own side of the uranium deal that Niger don't present their own. It's a shame.
They no go call lie.
And because they no go come, if you really want to do it, then you tell North Korea, just dialogue. You say, well, we are doing our best, but we are waiting for France. And then you go tell AU. So when in fact, the way you even do it is that you na go phone France, say the next meeting, let's know whether France go come. You can't do it in France now. You must be in Africa.
Yes.
So before then, that diplomacy is what Israel knows they must bomb Palestine, whether the meeting or not. But before any pararam, Israel go send a peace envoy. Say their peace envoy is meeting with America in Spain, but Arafat, PLO didn't send somebody. Even if you send what you
now so Israel they do. Any Israel president or prime minister must visit America. Must.
It's a must now.
If you not come now, while I do, the problem they go to move immediately.
If you not come now, if you veto you for their Knesset in Jerusalem, they remove you because they hold this thing. So that is it. So when you now say that France hasn't showed up, that because of that, no be pen and paper, and I go wire another letter, inform them that they are sorry, even if they scheduled it for next month, that there should be another meeting in one corner of Mali or one corner of Senegal, that we expect them to come there, and then they ratify it in Cotonou, Togo. When you do the man
these things you are saying now, they are listening. They are jotting it down. Tomorrow you see implementation. See?
That is diplomacy, and not be so you they do. Why you know, Anna? Which people? America is the most powerful country in the world with all their military might. Yet diplomacy, then go they send you go.
That diplomacy there's a big one well. No, they can pepper you.
And not be saying that they don't make up their mind. Say what they tell Saddam. Saddam, you invaded Kuwait, you must go back. And they see they do meeting diplomacy here. It doesn't mean anything. Then they ready the bomb where they go. But yes. If you call meeting,
go through.
If you call meeting, even if not for Brazil, America go fly in with their.
They go.
Yeah.
When they go there, then go send at the meeting. Even pose for photograph, shake hand. Everybody go take group photo.
But they don't prepare the bomb where they use.
For where? Because and that is diplomacy. For where?
Iraq someone for the hand. They say, oh, he has a nuclear weapon there. Let's go in there. Now, diplomat, they don't use diplomacy. Before you know it,
They don't send troop enter.
Is that
Chineke,
is that not what Iran was doing US in those days? So then go say weapons where they Iran. I mean, China, Iraq, yes.
Iraq.
So then go say they no get weapon. America said they get. They said okay. They argue am for UN. Where did they argue am?
It's because of
Me,
the oil. They wanted to
me,
go
yeah.
Now
extract all
that
the.
oil that they target.
Meanwhile, they will be hiding it. You know, in fact, not only Africa they mumu. You know, China. China, they get outbreak of disease all the time. If you
Oh, oh,
if
my
what
brother. Have you ever wondered why?
so if you China
Is that their
China,
is that their own
listen
diplomacy
listen
system?
listen 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 to this. China they get when they get them, World Health go say they want inspect. The day World Health go come, those patients where the hospital then go put them for ambulance, they run around this town, the whole China. You don't go nowhere then they go there moto. No, it's true. When you go here now, we don't tell now. So in America, they ever they dictate, say they carry them for ambulance. They say town, you know go no. So at that time when I come for inspection, all of them go then go evacuate the whole hospital where those people they put them for ambulance. They run maybe 5 hours, they still there for road. They run different part of China. When they don't do inspection finish, and they say to when I go, they bring them back. So it was that type of something that Ahmadinejad of Iran was doing to US when George Bush did that time. Then go accuse them of their sort of enriching their nuclear descent. Iran go say they know they do anything. They say they want come inspect. They're nothing. If they lie, then they come and inspect. The thing they underground. You know go see them for surface. So when
Yeah.
America they tell them say the thing they underground, that place the Americans know say na there it dey. Before the UN weapons inspection or whatever go arrive, they don't move am from there. Ahmadinejad. So that was why America, because the Americans is powerful now. They even don't send whether they are drone there up where you know see, then go see where the thing they take photos. Then
Yes.
these people go say, na primary school children be this. This is a school where they manufacture baby food or others. Before you know it, this is how they keep delaying. Iran go they do their nuclear, they enrich and they go. Meanwhile, Israel go they spy, they give America update. So Israel go they give America say this is where the thing there, because the way they do it is that let's say the thing is somewhere in Benin, then America go they claim say na for Kaduna the thing there, na Kaduna. Iran go say nothing there. They say they will come and inspect. Na lie you. America go they go Kaduna, but their eye there for Benin. They know where the
Yeah.
thing there.
That's how they
Oh
do.
dear, oh dear. In fact, black man
Did you
never
see
wait.
how they discovered when Russia was moving through
Mm-hmm.
to Ukraine? The
Ukraine.
satellite. You see the satellite image
I saw
when
the
they
satellite.
released the first satellite image. Vladimir Putin said it was a lie that America was lying. The first statement he
Mm-hmm.
said America was lying. Then after 2 weeks, he said
Africa.
they are going to drill. They are just going for training, kind of like doing
It
some
it
training. And
it
before you know it,
it depend me, sir. It depend me, South Africa still dey mumu. They know they do. It no be force. Now that diplomacy. Now America and the world. America has military. They are powerful, no doubt. But now that their diplomacy, then go take weaken you. And Britain they use and France. So this is the best way to play it. You don't present himself. You go just first of all, do you know if na me self, like I say I be Nigerian diplomat, I go first of all go say I dey visit Mali, may I go de-escalate tension. Then go show you and the Malian president they talk. You go they tell them that this we want to engage Mali as a peace broker with Burkina Faso. Maybe you go leave Niger first, meet with Mali, Burkina Faso, and maybe Nigeria, any country. When I go say na committee or when I go had a 2-day summit, you do it and walking breakfast, then they call them, do that one, then tidy it up again. Say there's
they
another
even
one.
have a lot in their hands. Look at Sudan. There's war in
Mhm.
Sudan. They could have even used that, as kind of try to, broadcast peace. Say, oh, we have a lot right now in our hands. We're trying to make sure there's peace. There's a lot of stuff to put on the table.
They
But
know.
They are
Then
just beating around the bush. Is this country, Sudan, are they part of AU?
no, it's Sudan is part of AU, but they are not part of West ECOWAS. Sudan is in the
Okay,
East Africa, and Sudan is
okay,
with
East Africa.
Somalia and all those.
Okay.
Even South Sudan. So to me, this is there's no other way I will advise Nigeria than this. Use diplomacy to show the French go then go cry, but they no go talk. Just and they will come for meeting and then you will capitalize on that. You say, in fact, we have to join the meeting, put it off indefinitely until France is ready because we need them to come and present their own side of this thing about the Iranian deal where they sign, where you know they want me they come show. They no go come.
They not go ever want them do public like.
They won't now. So you will capitalize on it. Say if they reply you in a word you don't like, you say na France be the aggressor. Now so you go call them. You say na France be the aggressor that Niger Republic is cooperating, Mali is cooperating, Burkina Faso, even Guinea, Sierra Leone, the whole West Africa, ECOWAS has taken a stand that they need to hear from France as a way forward so that there's, in fact,
The way they,
you go even say this is the peace envoy because of this Niger Republic wahala. When I go and nominate one peace envoy, if he come from maybe Guinea or from Algeria, no, Algeria is not in the ECOWAS, or Mali, or maybe Togo, say na him be the peace envoy.
the way they use democracy to cripple Africa
Of
is
course,
so
now,
bad. They
of
use
course.
democracy to cripple Africa. So they lied to Africa about democracy. Meanwhile, they are not practicing democracy.
Now because we don't know,
That is the message I've been selling since. People
Yes,
don't
they
want
are
to
not
understand
practicing
it.
democracy. They lied about democracy.
Mhm.
They are not practicing it.
You see, what will surprise you is that Saudi Arabia is not democratic. Yet America they hold
It's,
and they be party. Why?
yes,
Why? And Saudi the human right, you don't even talk of human right, man. When
it's,
a
it's
when,
non-existence.
when a woman, unless maybe of recent, they drive car, a taxi cannot, there's taxi that carry only women. Some go they carry only men. Imagine. Then I say, I mean, so many. So there's enough to it. America, you see, the world is waiting for Africa to now we go solve our problem. That's what I always believe. I don't believe we will go solve it. Now we.
Why should we all think that the white people will solve our problem? It's not possible.
Exactly. It's not possible.
When they feeding on our ignorance, they want us to not even, they don't
In
want us
fact,
to come, but they don't want us to be smart.
in fact, if you do the diplomacy very well this time, then go sit back, look Africa, say these people don't wise. Oh. They don't sabi our trick. Eh, They don't, then go say they don't sabi am. Na so meeting, they go the schedule. When France no come, you give them 1 month. The thing go the lengthen. Meanwhile, the man in Miami is consolidating in power. The thing where he do.
This diplomacy they also use it in their immigration.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They
but
they
in a
use.
stylish way.